Hello, the wonderful world of YouTube. Among Us is a game that I have been playing for a while now, and I have decided that I want to start a new series where I take some of my favourite games on my PlayStation and I will be deciding once and for all if they are gas or trash. If you are new around here, please do like and subscribe, as I really appreciate it and it helps out the channel a lot, so thank you. Right, let's get on with it. I think what better way to start the video by listing out the positives about the game in 2026. So as of right now, there are a few different roles for crewmates and imposters, and if you clearly know how to use them, then you can use these to your advantage. However, obviously, not everyone likes those roles, so you can turn those off at will. And another thing that is worth noting is to point out how many roles that there are. You can enable some and disable others, and it means that all lobbies are very much unique. So each role gives either a crewmate or an imposter an advantage. You can change the amount of people that have that ability and the chances. So that's already one way you can increase the amount of players that are coming into the game, is by introducing kind of new mechanics, which is always great for video games that have lots of players. You can bring something to entice your player base back. And personally, to me, I quite like the roles. However, I have spoken to other people and they say they hate the roles. Luckily, they don't have to keep those on if they don't want to. Personally though, my favourite role is definitely the shapeshifter. I've listed this as like one of my favourite roles of all time, and maybe I should even do a video ranking all of my favourite roles. But that's the video for another time. Next thing that's also pretty cool is how there is a bunch of different maps that you can choose from. The different maps have different tasks, which means that your brain will have to adapt to the different locations, and with each map comes different challenges, new ways for imposters to win, and also new ways for crewmates to win. It's a nice balanced system, and I hope that more games can actually take a page out of Among Us' book for this one, as if anything, it's basically just a way to vary the game, which I feel like not many games do nowadays. Is that if you have one map all the time, then you can't just, use like new mechanics. You have to wait and build them in order for them to be used, which is always annoying. Whether I want to do specific tasks that I prefer doing over others, I should be able to select the different maps. So already that gets a plus from me. But, however, there are a few problems with this. Number one, most of the maps you'll find in servers are the Skeld map, probably because it is the easiest one, which is understandable. I use Skeld pretty much all the time, but for the others, they want to try and do different maps. And the problem is yes, while you can filter them under which map you want as a server, the problem with that is that not many people like doing other maps other than Skeld, or they forget that the other maps exist. Maybe we'll see how that goes within the next few months, and maybe even in the Among Us TV show they can explain how these different maps tie into each other. And one more positive that I found while playing the game is the ease of the chat system. It's not perfect, but it is very useful amongst kind of different players. You can turn off the mature language, so if you want, more edgy language and not do a Nick A30 special and try and keep it PG, then you could do that. Keep everyone entertained. But on the other hand, it does have a few issues. The glitches with the chat feature have been going on for a while now. Sometimes they can even crash your game, which it has done for me the past few times on stream, which has been, it's not been great. But the chat feature is a key part of the game and is a lot better than using any other form of chat. The quick chat system in this game is, well, I'll get onto that later, but for now, just free chat in general is great. It's very useful, and I think that was definitely a genius decision by Insoft to have that in the game. So if you like chatting to your friends and talking about random crap, rather than focusing on the meeting at hand, then you can do that. So now I'll get on to the more kind of mixed section for me. Personally, I like the idea of the currency in this game. Not many games do it nowadays, but earning currency while you play instead of having microtransactions. Because in a very much struggling economy, not everyone can pay out all the time for microtransactions. It's annoying, and while I do understand that companies also need to make money, it's not the way to particularly do it. I don't think everything should be paid. I think there are some things that you should have in your games that allow you to play the game without paying, in order to get like cosmetics, or maybe even some like other forms of currency. But point is, I think it's a very neat system. The only downside I have with it is that some things are still locked behind a paywall, because already you're paying for Among Us. Sometimes you can get it free off the Epic Games Store or any other store, but the problem is that surely if you pay for a game, then there should be less microtransactions. That's not the case with Among Us 100% of the time though. You still have to pay for stars, which you can buy off the store, for real money. So if you want some cosmetics in the game, you'll have to churn out maybe about £10 or so in order to get your cosmetics you want. And to be honest, I'm not particularly happy with that, because some of those cosmetics you can barely see on your character. I don't think that they should be paid. It's much like Call of Duty, where you pay up skins yet you can't see them. Unless it's the Fallout stuff, in which case then yeah, maybe that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think that's kind of my only mixed thing on it. Is just like kind of the different kind of like forms of microtransactions. I'm just not a fan. But another thing that I guess I could kind of complain about is maybe the player base. I feel like that's more on the negatives though, so I guess we should probably use this to get on to the negatives. The player base is not great. I'm not talking about like, you know, people that join streams and stuff, they're fine. But the problem lies in the trolls and the public lobbies, because you are not going to have the same brain as everyone else. I can understand that. But some people are just so brain dead that they don't use logic. So if you're thinking that it is a battle of the minds, it is really not, because people can team, they can stay in group chats and get basically everyone out so they can win. It's annoying and it's a big old mess. Not to mention that we still have those players that end up pressing the button at the start of the game, and it's been like a year since I made a video on it. So yeah, be prepared to rage a lot with Among Us. Another problem is that, in a way, I don't think that Among Us is a game that should be paid for. I think that it should be free to play, and kind of in contrast what I thought earlier, I guess, is that if they're to make it free, then that would be a good excuse for microtransactions, because you've got the game for free. But what I expect is, if there's a game that's for free, I expect there to be microtransactions. And if it is not free, then I don't expect as many microtransactions, if not any. So I think that would be maybe something that could change, but I don't think it will. But you can still get Among Us for free sometimes. Like, sometimes there's deals on it. There's the Epic Games Store where they release free games every now and then. So if you're worried about missing out on Among Us, then just keep an eye out for it in the sales. Also, another negative is the servers. The servers have been an issue for as long as I've been doing Among Us YouTube videos. The servers keep on either crashing or they're dead. And it is very hard to make a video on Among Us of me just like playing the game. Getting background footage is an absolute painstake. And I don't want that. I want to be able to record a video, sit down, have some fun, have some laughs, or maybe even just give some informative videos like this. I don't want to sit half an hour just to get some recording footage. If you've watched my videos, you will know that I have probably ended up reusing the same footage for background clips over and over and over again. And on the one hand, yes, that's just what YouTubers do all the time, but also it's because I can't record as many clips because the servers are always dead. So yeah, that's kind of the main problems I find with the game. But I think that's all the complaints I really have. I think in terms of where I would rank it, I would probably put it at a gas 2. It's not particularly incredible. I actually, to be honest, I rarely play Among Us off stream, but the thing is, it's not a bad game, it's just got some flaws that need to be solved if the game is going to go any further. But until then, I think that's all from me. Would you end up picking up Among Us in 2026? Let me know down in the comments. And also be sure to let me know if you want to see more of these gas or trash videos. I will of course be replying to all comments in the comment section below. But until then, be sure to check out the rest of the videos on my channel, as we are growing in subscribers substantially right now. And until then, I will see you all next time. Goodbye.